Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity Palo Alto Shelter Edition. We're here in my backyard with the amazing Deborah Winters, and Joe Angeles is with us as well. I want to just first say thank you. Thank you for for bringing us into your home today, into your shelter. We're so grateful that you are here with us on this experience, and we are here with you. Just I want you to make sure that you know that. We're blessed by you, and you are a blessing. And with that, we'll open our service with our opening song and Deborah Winters. Take it away, Deborah.
Letting go just a little bit more. Letting go just a little bit more. Help me let go, help me let go, help me let go just a little bit more. Help me let go, help me let go, help me let go just a little bit more. Letting go just a little bit more. Letting go just a little bit more. Help me let go, help me let go, help me let go just a little bit more. Help me let go, help me let go, help me let go just a little bit more. Letting go just a little bit more.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning. It's just so good to be connected with all of you this morning. Indeed, we are not alone, as we are part of a worldwide movement of prayer, publishing, and education, teaching positive, practical, spiritual principles that you and I can apply every day to our lives to help us live a more joyful and abundant life. Unity is a spiritual movement. We are welcoming and inclusive, and wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are welcome here. And we have 5 core principles that guide us in our spiritual path. Our first principle, God is. There is one power active in the universe and in our lives, God the good, the omnipotent. My favorite, the force. Our second principle, God is the substance and intelligence innate in every person and in all of creation. And our third principle, thoughts in our mind produce after their kind, so we have the ability to affect our world. Our fourth principle, my favorite, is prayer and meditation, as prayer and meditation connect us with that creative, constructive power of God to work in us and through us. The fifth principle is practical application. As we live according to these truths daily, we become what we were created to be, the living expressions of the image of God, which unity calls the Christ. And now I'd like to share our vision statement with you and invite you to affirm it with me. Centered in God, we co create a world that works for all. Together, centered in God, we co create a world that works for all. And so it is. And we are a welcoming and vibrant community with many virtual opportunities for spiritual growth, sacred service, and celebrating our community. First one, the Wednesday night Sacred Circles discussion and meditation group will continue to meet through May. This has been a wonderful and grounding opportunity to come together each at midweek and discuss the words of wisdom from various Unity authors and share some time in meditation and uplifting music. And today, Reverend John invites you to join us on Zoom for spiritual coffee talk. It's an opportunity for us to connect and discuss today's Sunday service with your spiritual community. You will need to register on our website to join, and in Zoom will send you a login information. And you can begin your week centered, focused, and empowered at our Sunday morning meditation. This weekly half hour meditation starts at 9 a.m. This is the time in the silence is a wonderful gift to give yourself. And you register once in advance for the meditation and you may participate every Sunday. And I'm excited to announce that our 2020 Glitz and Glam Gala has been rescheduled on Saturday, November 7th, and we have reopened the early bird ticket pricing. So head over to our website and get your ticket. And this is an event that will be worth the wait. And to learn more about these opportunities or to register in any of our classes, visit our website at www.unitypaloalto.org, and you can check out our, and there's so many ways to connect with us and share the good news that is Unity Palo Alto. Now I'm handing it over to Deborah as she leads us in our congregational songs.
Okay, you guys, sing along so the neighbors can hear you. I let go, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. Oh, with my faith I see the light, and I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. Oh, with my faith I see the light. Yes, I am free in the Spirit. Oh, I'm only here for God. And now we're going to sing Open the Eyes of My Heart. Eyes of my heart, open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Just pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you.
If you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook, we invite you to pop over to the chat room and greet each other, or you could just put your hand on your heart and send out love. Happy Sunday, everyone.
I am light, I am light. 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 I am not mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light. I am light, I am light. You are light, you are light. We are light, we are light.
Today's daily word, release. And I will read our affirmation and then invite you to affirm it with me. I release all that does not contribute to my highest good. Would you affirm that with me? Together, I release all that does not contribute to my highest good. John's Gospel tells of Jesus restoring life to his friend Lazarus, who had been dead for 4 days. And Jesus cries, "Lazarus, come out." His friend emerges from the tomb, burial cloths still covering his face and wrapped around his hands and feet. Jesus says to those who have gathered, "Unbind him and let him go." Even after a spiritual resurrection, I may remain bound, like Lazarus, by thoughts, ideas, feelings, or habits that keep me from the full experience of freedom. Through my divine power of elimination, I release negative feelings, dissolve error thoughts, and free myself from habits and actions that do not serve my highest good. I am no longer bound. I am free. And from John chapter 11, verse 44. The dead man come out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go."
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Whoa, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. And you say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. That
The only thing that matters now is all I have inside of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Whoa, and you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. And you say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe. Letting go, I know I have all that makes me whole and complete. God, you know every failure, you see every victory. Oh, and you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. And you say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe what you say of me. Oh, I believe, and I believe. I believe.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome on this beautiful spring morning. It's such a delight to be with you this morning, to be a part of your Sunday experience, and I'm so grateful for all of you. Today, we're going to be talking about this idea of cheese. And Who Moved My Cheese? Now, here's the reason. Now, this is a book that was written, Who Moved My Cheese was written back in 1998 by Dr. Spencer Johnson. And back in the time, it is a very simple parable, but has very deep meaning around change. And if you were in the industry, certainly in software back at the time, this was almost essential reading. This was like required reading for any job that you were in, to help us get used to this idea that things change, and things change quicker than now, more than ever, quicker than we had ever experienced it before. Now, the reason I brought this up, or this came to mind, was that every year when the fifth graders graduate from the local elementary school here in Palo Alto, and they're getting ready to go to middle school, and in our elementary school, the principal always reads "Who Moved My Cheese" to our fifth graders, as a way to really get them thinking about how they can look at this change a little bit differently, begin to realize how they look at change, and what they can do to make it a more productive, make it a more joyful experience. Now, fifth grade, the transition from elementary to middle school is quite big, right? They go from one teacher, one classroom, to multiple teachers, multiple classrooms, a schedule that they have to manage on their own. So you can, not only that, but during this age of children, when they're going from this late elementary school age to this middle school age, there's a lot of change going on in their own consciousness and their own experience. So it's a wonderful opportunity for them to really kind of sink into, what does change really mean? Now, and the reason is the principal reads it to our kids as an extension of Project Cornerstone, and I've been asked this year to just create a couple of slides to help support that experience for them. And that really, so I read the book again, and that really brought to mind the fact that we are all in a boatload of change, that there's a lot of things going on right now, that our world has been rocked. And now, not for everyone. For some people, I have friends and colleagues who are like, well, not really much has changed. I'm still doing work the way I used to do work. I usually work out of my house or my office. and I'm the only one around doing my thing, and that hasn't changed for me. So for some people, this change of shelter in place hasn't affected them quite as much as others. So we each have our own experience of it. And this story, Who Moved My Cheese, is a great example of it. So I'd like to paraphrase some of it for you. First off, some of the main characters. There are two mice, Sniff and Scurry. Now, these two mice do as mice do. They get up every morning, they put on their sneakers and their joggers. You've seen the mice do that, haven't you? And they go out into the maze of life in search of food, in search of cheese. So Sniff, his skill is to sniff out the cheese. So he gets up and he catches wind of where the cheese is, and he tells Scurry, and then Scurry runs off to try and find it. Now, as you can imagine, along the way, Scurry makes some wrong turns every once in a while. Scurry bumps into walls. But he just comes back and they get a better bearing and they keep going. So eventually, this one day, the mice, Sniff and Scurry, were scurrying around the maze of life, and they found a store of cheese. It was called Cheese House C, I believe it was. So they found Cheese House C, and they said, here we are. So they took off their shoes, they tied the laces and wrapped it around their necks just in case they needed the shoes very quickly. And they ate a little, they ate just what they needed, and then they went off on with their day. Each day, that was their routine. They took the exact same path to get to that cheese. They ate what they needed, and then they went on. Now, there are two more characters in this story, and those are little people the size of mice, but they act a little bit differently. They act as if they have this very functional brain. They act very similar to how people today might act. And their name are Hem and Haw. Now, Hem and Haw wanted to look for cheese in a different way. Of course, they used their brain, their intellect, and they were devising different plans to find the cheese. And eventually, they did find the cheese. They found Cheese House C. And when they did, they looked at it and said, "Look at all this cheese. This is amazing. There's enough cheese here to last forever." Now, the fifth character in this story is the cheese itself. Because you see, the cheese is a metaphor. It's a metaphor for all of those things that we think we need or that we think we want. Now, for Sniff and Scurry, it was very simple. The cheese was just simply food. It was something, that's where I need to go to get my food. I'm going to go through my life and nibble what I need, and then I'm on my way. For Hem and Haw, it was a little bit different, because Hem and Haw didn't look at it from the perspective of it's just cheese. To them, it was cheese with a capital C. To them, it was, we found cheese, therefore we can be happy. They put all of their happiness, all of their excitement, all of their energy in life into that cheese. In fact, over time, their habits changed. They stopped, worrying about how to get to the cheese. They slept in a little bit, they, as many of us do at these times, they didn't get out of their PJs until noon, if at all. And eventually they would go and they would find their cheese, and they looked at it as if this is my storehouse of cheese. It's all mine. So pretty soon, they got into these patterns, and Hem would throw cheese parties. Hem would invite their friends over to taste a flight of cheese from the 3-month, the 6-month, and the 1-year aged Gouda. And in the process of tasting that flight of cheese, he made sure to point out, don't whine about not getting enough cheese. Get it? Wine and cheese? Yeah? Okay. I got the look. Anyway, so the cheese became their focus in life. The cheese became, the raison d'etre. This is why we're here, because of this cheese. And they didn't notice that over time, the cheese was being depleted. They would throw parties, they would eat the cheese, they would enjoy the cheese, and they wouldn't worry about it. Well, eventually, they ran out of cheese at Cheese House C, Cheese Station C, whatever. So when that happened, Sniff and Scurry said, okay, the cheese is gone. We had a feeling this was happening because we saw it deplete and diminish over time. We saw some of it get a little moldy. So they unlaced their shoes, they put on their shoes, and they went sniffing and scurrying out for more cheese. Hem and Haw, on the other hand, came in a few hours later, still in their pajamas, looked around, dismayed. "Who moved my cheese?" said Hem. He was so angry and bitter because things have changed. Life had changed. The situation had changed, and he did not like it one bit. He started complaining and he started blaming everyone else. There's somebody who took my cheese. This is just not right. I'm going to sit here until my cheese comes back. Someone's going to bring me my cheese. Now, Ha, on the other hand, was just shocked. I think Ha just kind of sat around thinking, I don't understand what happened. She was in a state of shock and she was getting hungry and she was getting a little nervous about the whole situation. And she kept trying to say, Hem or Ha, Hem, Ha, I don't know. Hem, what do we do? Hem would say, don't worry about it. I'm staying here. I'm waiting for my cheese. I demand my cheese. I deserve it. Well, eventually, Ha got into her thoughts that, maybe I need to go look for other cheese. I don't see Sniff and Scurry around anymore. Maybe they went to look for more cheese. Maybe they found more cheese. Hem, why don't you come with me? Nope, I'm not coming. So eventually Hem went out and she searched. And it took quite a bit of time. And she went through a process of really discovering how this change in her life changed her. It taught her lessons that she didn't even know existed. And she grew from them. Now, eventually, Hem found the other cheese at the next cheese station. And Sniff and Scurry were there. They smiled politely and nodded and went on their way. And when Ha got to that cheese station, she took off her shoes, she tied the laces, and she put it around her neck, just like Sniff and Scurry did, because she realized, I might need to do something different next time change comes around. Here are some of the things that Ha, I'll get it right, that Ha learned along her journey. Every time she came up with a new idea, this new thought came to her, this new learning, she would write it down on the walls in hope that Hem would eventually follow her. And then Hem would see the writings and then know which way to go. And here's some of the wisdom that Ha received. The more important your cheese is, the more you want to hold on to it. And if you don't change, you will become extinct. How many of us look at the things that we have in life with that capital C cheese? How many of us are looking at either, our relationships, our job, our patterns, our normal routines, how we look at that as, if I have those things, then I can be happy. But if I lose those things, if things start to diminish, if those relationships start to get a little mold on them, then life is coming to an end. Instead of just slicing off the mold and having the good cheese, we focus on the mold. So Ha wrote on the walls these ideas. Here's another one she wrote. What would you do if you weren't afraid? One of the biggest challenges she had at the beginning was, things have changed, but what do I do? I'm afraid to go out into the world. I'm afraid to go back into the maze. I had it so nice here. I had it so easy. How is it that I can go out and start all over again, to look for a new pattern or a new set of cheese, to look for my new good, because it doesn't look like it did before? What would I do if I weren't afraid? She also wrote, smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. Pay attention. Pay attention to our relationships. Pay attention to the work that we do in our careers and our jobs. Pay attention to the weeding that has to be done. Whatever's yours to do, focus on it and give it good attention. Don't take it for granted. Don't pretend like it's always going to be there. For everything in life changes. If there's one thing that doesn't change in life, it's change. Life is always in the process of change. And yet we don't always see it. Even when we're in a normal routine, life is still changing. We still have the opportunity to grow with it if we choose. Movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese. When you stop being afraid, you feel good, and it's safer to search in the maze than remain in a cheeseless situation. How many of us are sitting in that same situation thinking, well, this is my lot in life. Thinking I can't do anything better. Life is, this pandemic thing. Some people are thinking we'll never get back to the same way of doing things. I've heard this. Some people have said that people will get so used to connecting over Zoom and over electronics that they won't want to connect with each other. They won't want to hug each other again. Now, we may be a little bit out from hugging, but I believe that people will still come back to that idea of wanting that connection. So things may change, church may change, your job may change, the crowded workrooms with people lined up one after the other, that might change. But what doesn't have to change is that spirit within you. That spirit within you to seek your highest good, to go out and search for something that may be a little bit better than what you're currently experiencing. The author of the book said, "What you're afraid of is never as bad as what you imagine. The fear you let build up in your mind is worse than the situation that actually exists." This was Hem's strength. Hem was a master storyteller. As soon as something happened, good or bad, Hem would wrap a whole story around it. When the cheese was there, it's like, look at me, I'm the king of cheese. Please come and taste of my cheese. Yes, not you. You got to stay away. But everyone else, yes, you're welcome to taste of mine, not too much, for this is my cheese, and I'm the king of cheese. How many of us do that with our daily lives? Instead of being grateful for what we have and using it for its purpose, not overusing it, not eating too much cheese, but just allowing it to satisfy us, whatever that is in our lives, whether it's money, whether it's your creativity, your TV, your favorite TV shows, which my son just realized, oh my gosh, we have to wait another year before we can watch the next Jack Ryan because nobody is filming right now. Can you believe we have to wait that long? The things that we have to give up. We watched the NFL draft. He did. He watched the NFL draft to see, who was coming up, all with the anticipation of, well, hopefully we get to see them play in a few months. And we may or may not. So when we tell the stories around the things that are happening to us, that's when the great suffering comes into play. Things have changed for us, and there is grief. There is grief whenever something that we're really attached to, something that we really love, something that is very meaningful for us, shifts. There is a sense of grief within us, and that's a natural thing. The challenge is, how do we manage that? Not even how do we manage the grief, but how do we move through the grief? So often what happens is we feel that feeling of grief. We feel that emotion. We feel that energy. I was recently watching a video by Dr. David Hawkins this last week, where he was talking about intense grief. And he was talking about how to live through intense grief and how to heal from that. And the one thing that he said that really stuck out with me is that the only way you can deal with grief is by moving through it, by allowing it to be. If we resist it, then we're just suppressing it, and that grief becomes a powder keg within us. If we look at trying to figure it out, even, here's the grief, but here's why I feel I'm grieving, because somebody moved my cheese, somebody stole my cheese, somebody changed my relationship, somebody fired me, or I got laid off. This is all the reason. And whenever we go into that idea, that thinking about why are we feeling grief, that just creates more fuel for the grief. If we stick in that mode, then we're in an endless grief cycle. So instead, Dr. Hawkins says, don't focus on those reasons. Just focus on the energy. And this really resonated with me, because if you think about whenever you're feeling those emotions, we can give them names. But if we're really emotionally aware, we have an idea of how they're showing up within us. We can feel the emotion, the energy, the vibration within us. And what I've begun to do is just to start focusing on that energy, not from the standpoint of, look at the energy I have, but simply, here's the energy, just noticing it without any blame, shame, or guilt, without blaming someone else, without blaming myself, without thinking, without spiritually bypassing and thinking, nope, I can't feel that. I have to feel happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. Myrtle Fillmore, in one of her healing letters, wrote, you can't suppress your feelings. You can't deal with your feelings in that way, because they come up again. David Hawkins says, when a grief or an experience happens like this change, or like a minor upset within the household, because when we're all stuck together for long periods, things get a little more tense. We get a little more tender. We get a little more reactive. I know I certainly do. And instead of reacting to what happened to the data, if we move to the idea of, okay, here's the energy I'm feeling. I can experience the energy. And when I'm experiencing the energy, I allow it to dissipate. I allow it to flow out of me. I don't focus on it. I don't worry about what's there or not. It's just, here's the energy. I'm just allowing it to burn off. I started doing that through my meditations. When I'm noticing that I'm feeling more stress and anxiety as going into the silence, I spend some time with that stress and anxiety and just allow it to burn off. I try not to make any meaning out of it, because when I make meaning out of it, it just gets worse. I try not to give any thought or about what caused it, because when I do that, it just gets worse. Instead, I just allow that energy to burn, and then I focus that myself on the energy of the divine flowing in. I focus my energy on appreciation, on gratitude for what I have in my life, on the joy that my cat, who's wandering around our deck here somewhere, jumping on computers as we speak, focusing on the joy that he's having just being around us and hanging out with us. I focus on the breeze that's flowing through the umbrella, that's flowing through the wonderful plants that are around me, that's reminding me to be present. Instead of worrying about that energy, that grief, I just allow it to be so I can move through it. So I can move through it and express that trueness that is within me, that true joy, that infinite peace that's always available within me, if I allow it to be. If I stop making meaning out of the upset, out of the coronavirus, out of the shelter in place, if I just acknowledge that this is the situation at the moment and it will change. My life may have changed. My life will continue to change. But if I look at it from that standpoint of and sometimes even laugh at my life, laugh at myself, become lighthearted, I'm able to see the gifts and the blessings that are arising even within the situation. You know, that idea that we have within us, that divine essence and that divine nature has been a lesson that's been here for thousands of years. It didn't start with unity. It's what Jesus talked about when he said, seek first that kingdom of God. And he also said that kingdom of God is within. It's within us. It's not out there in the capital C cheese. We may enjoy cheese. We may find these things in our life that we really appreciate. But if we remember to come first from that idea that we have everything we need within us, even amongst the change, you have within you right now the creativity to find a new career, to find a new way to find your next block of cheese. You have within you the sense of appreciation and gratitude to see the good that's in your life right now. You have within you the love to create harmony within your relationships, that harmonizing power that connects and binds us, even if we can't connect with each other personally. We can do it through the phone, through FaceTime, through Zoom. We can do it across the street as our neighbors play pickleball. They make sure to stay away from each other, but they're in the middle of the street playing pickleball. Just another way to connect, another way to find that joy in life. You have within you everything you need to draw upon the wisdom of the universe, to know and define and discern your next steps. You have everything within you to rise above whatever grief you're experiencing, to feel through it, to allow it to be, to move your energy through that state, to raise your vibration to a higher level of energy, to an energy of joy, to an energy of love, to an energy of bliss, by simply acknowledging that which you have. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this: "What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies within you." You have everything you need within you right now to rise above this experience, to connect with that internal wisdom, to connect with that internal understanding, that infinite wisdom that's a part of you, that place within you that is the divine essence, that spark of divinity, that higher consciousness, whatever word works for you. You have within you the ability to connect with that and to bring that into your consciousness, to bring that into your words, to bring it into your actions, to bring it into your life, so that we may experience and express a greater understanding of this truth, of our oneness with God, of our oneness with that infinite potential, of our oneness with that infinite source of good in life. You have everything within you. Let's take that into our time of meditation and prayer. I'll invite you now to take a nice, deep cleansing breath. To close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or simply soften your gaze as we move into an experience of the inner, as we allow the outer experience to simply fade. And with our breath, we acknowledge the feelings that we have, whatever feeling we may be feeling, whatever energy is within us. Just allow the energy to express itself, to diffuse itself, to release itself. We don't have to worry about the reason it's there, the cause, the effect. Just focus on allowing that energy to express, to diffuse, to release. As those thoughts come up and as those emotions come up, we simply acknowledge them and let them float by. We don't dwell on our emotions or our feelings or our thoughts. We just allow them to drift by. No blame, no shame, no guilt. And as we do, we allow our consciousness to return to that state of oneness with the divine presence within you. With each breath, we allow that idea of peace to well up within us, to well up within you. With each breath, we allow that energy of harmony to vibrate from you, that energy of gratitude to well up and vibrate from you, that energy of peace. As we consciously move into a time of stillness, into a time of silence. From this energy of oneness, we express our highest mind action, we express our prayer. As we affirm, I am one with the divine flow of life. I am one with the energy of bliss, the energy of joy. I am one with divine wisdom, knowing that I can draw upon this wisdom at any moment of the day, and I allow that wisdom to guide me. I am one with divine love, knowing that harmonizing energy now works in and through my body, my mind, my spirit, bringing me into harmony with the one presence, that one power, the divine flow of life, God, the good omnipotence. And with a nice, deep cleansing breath, I allow that feeling of appreciation and gratitude to come to mind. I am grateful for all that I have in life. I'm grateful for this present moment and our ability to connect with one another. I'm grateful for this ability for me to draw upon that divine wisdom within me so that I can shine my light and be a beacon of peace, be the expression of wisdom, be the harmonizing power in my world. For all of this joy, for all of this realization, for this understanding of who we've come here to be, we are joyfully grateful. We are richly, richly blessed. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Amen. And with a nice, deep, cleansing breath, I invite you to return your attention to this space and this time and this experience of the airplanes flying by and the birds and the tweeting and the trees humming. The trees humming? The trees hum. And just allow that feeling of gratitude to be who you are in this present moment. Unity Palo Alto is here. We exist for the purpose of helping you discover that spiritual magnificence that's already within you, helping you live that experience every day, helping you do life better. We'd love to hear from you. If you've enjoyed this experience, if you'd like to connect with your spiritual community, you can join us for the Spiritual Coffee Talk, which is right after the service. We might be done a little bit early. I just don't know. So as soon as it's done, as soon as I can get to my computer, I'll start it up and you're welcome to join me as we share some of our connection about what's happening with us, what's alive in us, share our expression of that joy. If you'd like to fill out a connection card, if you're on our homepage or if you're on unitypaloalto.org/live, you can scroll down and we have a prayer card where you can submit your prayer request. That's held in prayer by myself and some prayer chaplains I'm working on getting myself organized so that we can have other people help and call and maybe call some people if you'd like a call. There's the connection card, which you can let us know if you want to be on our mailing list. Let us know how you liked the service, what was meaningful for you. We'd love to hear from you. And we'd also like to invite you into a time of giving. I think that's next on my agenda. To give us an opportunity to give of that spiritual good, to allow us to continue this experience of Unity Palo Alto, to support our spiritual center, to support our spiritual community. We of course are working as hard as we can behind the scenes, and all of our staff are employed as much as we can employ them at the moment. And we'd love to have your support in keeping everything going. If you're on unitypaloalto.org, you can click on the donate button. And there's an opportunity for you to donate there. I think we have a slide on the screen that has a little QR code. If you want to click on that, you can get to our PayPal site, and you can donate online through PayPal. You can send us a check, whatever it is that is yours to give. However you'd like to express your love and your joy for our spiritual community, I invite you to do that now. If you give automatically each month through automatic donations, I invite you to simply place your hand in your heart. And whatever it is for yours to give, even if it's simply a prayer for our spiritual center, give it with love. For it's the manner in which we give to life. When we give to life with love, with gratitude and appreciation, that's how we receive from life. We receive love and appreciation and gratitude. And so give with that idea in your life. And bless your gift in your own unique and special way. Surround it with your love. Surround our spiritual center and every person who this goes out to serve. Every person on this live stream, every person who watches the video in the next week or so. We had 1,000 views of our Easter service, everyone from looking at it for 3 seconds to the full service. So we bless each person who comes across our spiritual community. Our blessing is on the screen. I invite you to say that with me together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is. Amen.
And let it go. I release the things I'm clinging to. I release what's holding me. Oh, I'm falling into God's love. I let it be. There's nothing more for me to do. Nothing more to say. Oh, I'm falling into God's love. I feel the Spirit holding me, and it is lifting me on high. I rise on a power I can't see, and on the wings of love I fly. I fly. Oh, I let it go. I release the things I'm clinging to. I release what's holding me. I'm falling into God's love. I let it be. I release resistance inside me. I'm resilient and at peace as I'm falling into God's love. And I feel the Spirit holding me, and it is lifting me on high. I rise on a power I can't see, and on the wings of love I fly. Oh, I fly.
We take this opportunity now to bless these gifts and then bless the givers. We are so grateful for your generosity, your willingness to give of your time, your talent, and your treasure to support this spiritual movement, to support this spiritual community, to support what we're doing here every Sunday and during the week. We're so grateful for you. We surround our prayer chest with our love. And if there's somebody who you hold in prayer, I invite you to say their name out loud now or bring their name to mind. For all of the names that we hold in our hearts and all of the names that we're holding in prayer, for all of the names in our prayer chest, we affirm that divine love is doing its perfect work here and now, surrounding each person in each situation with a harmonizing power of love, moving through each person, raising them up to the awareness of their abilities, making them aware of that divine presence that's within them, that divine potential that's within them, that Christ consciousness, that higher consciousness that's allowing them to rise in this present moment, that's allowing them to discover and discern a new path, a new way of being, a new way of experiencing life. And we are so joyful and grateful for this experience of life and this energy that flows innately through each one of us. We hold this same prayer for all of our world, national, state, and local leaders, seeing them making wise and loving decisions for peace on earth, goodwill, equality, and justice for all people. And for this time together, for this joyous celebration that we have experienced every Sunday. We are joyfully grateful. We are richly, richly blessed. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Well, I think that's it. I think I'm done. Oh, it's the fourth. It's the fourth Sunday. It's the fourth Sunday. So the fourth. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, producer. She's my. Anyway, it's the fourth Sunday, and on the fourth Sunday is the Sunday that we bless each other. That's the time when we can come together and share that blessing that we have for each other. So I want us to do that virtually. I want us to think about everyone in our spiritual community, everyone who might be watching right now, everyone in the Bay Area, in the world, everyone who we can think of, all family and friends, as we bless them. And the blessing that we say, I'll say it once and then we'll affirm it together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Together, I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I behold the Christ you are. And so it is. Namaste. And now we go to Deborah for our closing song.
Peace. I am a stand for peace. Let me be love. I am a stand for love. Let me be joy. I am a stand for joy. Let me be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let me be love. I am a stand for love. Let me be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Sing along. Let me be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let me be love. I am a stand for love. Let me be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let me be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let me be love. I am a stand for love. Let me be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now.
And now for our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Love and blessings, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.